The first message came at 2:37 in the morning. It startled me awake, just a notification lighting up my phone, but I had this immediate, inexplicable dread. I reached for it, half asleep, thinking it was some spam caller, but I froze when I saw the voicemail's transcript. The first few words read, "Don't pick up the phone. Whatever you do, don't answer." That was it. No caller ID. No history of the number, nothing. Just that warning. But the strangest part was the voice. It was mine. I laughed it off at first, even though I couldn't shake the chill it left me with. I tried telling myself it was just some bizarre prank, or maybe even an audio glitch. I ignored it, went back to sleep. But 2 nights later, around the same time, my phone buzzed again, another voicemail. "Listen to me. You're in danger." That same voice, my voice, but more urgent, pleading. "Something's coming. You don't have much time. Whatever you do, don't go to the window." I felt my heart start to pound as I replayed the message, each word embedding itself in my mind. Why would I tell myself not to look out the window? I was alone. I was safe. But after that call, I felt wrong. The air felt heavier, and shadows seemed darker. I couldn't shake this creeping sense of dread, this feeling that something was lurking, waiting. I kept checking the window, watching for movement, but there was nothing there. I didn't tell anyone about the messages. How could I? How do you explain to someone that you're getting voicemails from yourself? I told myself to ignore it, to just block the number and move on, but it didn't stop. Days later, another message came. The words were rushed, panicked. "They're here. I can't hide anymore. You're not safe. Don't open the door. Whatever happens, do not open the door." My hands were shaking as I listened to it over and over, trying to make sense of it. It was my voice, the same timbre, the same cadence. I was telling myself not to open a door, but which one? I paced around my apartment, heart racing, staring at every doorway, every shadow, as if something could come bursting through at any moment. Then came the fourth message, and this one. This one was worse. The voicemail was full of static, garbled, almost impossible to understand, but I could make out fragments, bits of sentences that cut through the noise like a knife. "You can't run. They're already inside. Keep the lights on. They're watching you. They know." A cold sweat broke out across my skin. I was sitting there in the middle of the night, my heart pounding so hard it hurt. Who was they? Who knew what? I couldn't stop replaying the words in my head, each one raising a new, darker question. And then I did something I probably shouldn't have done. I called the number back. It rang once, twice, then dead silence. No one picked up, but as I listened, straining to hear anything, I caught a faint whisper, just one sentence. "You shouldn't have done that." The call cut off, and I was left in a pitch-black room, staring at my screen, barely breathing. I could feel something watching me, some invisible presence pressing in around me. But when I looked, there was nothing. After that, I was afraid to sleep. I stayed up, lights on, jumping at every creak, every shadow. But the next night, another voicemail came. This time the message was calm, almost soothing, like I was trying to reassure myself. "It's okay. Just close your eyes. Pretend you don't hear them. Pretend you don't feel them watching." And then, just before it cut off, in a voice barely above a whisper, I said, "It's almost over." I stopped sleeping. I couldn't eat. I barely left my apartment. I just kept waiting for the next call, jumping at every buzz, every notification. I knew it was coming, but each message seemed to chip away at my sanity, each one pushing me closer to some unseen edge. And then, 2 days ago, I got the last one. The message was pure static, crackling and distorted, but as I strained to make out the words, I heard it. My own voice, broken, barely a whisper. "This is the last warning. You need to leave. Get out before it finds you." Then the static cleared, and I heard a sound, faint but unmistakable. The sound of breathing, slow and steady, like something was standing right behind me. I spun around, my heart hammering in my chest, but there was no one there. Just my empty apartment, silent and dark. But the fear wouldn't leave me. That feeling of being watched, of something lurking just beyond sight. I don't know how to explain it, but the world feels different now. Like reality has shifted, warped. I see things in the corner of my eye, shadows that seem to move, figures that disappear when I look directly at them. The air feels thick, suffocating, like I'm being smothered by something invisible. And then tonight I got one last message. The voicemail came in just as the clock struck midnight, and this time the voice was trembling, desperate, filled with fear. "This is it. It's here. Whatever you do, don't answer the phone. No matter how much it rings, don't answer." My phone started ringing. The screen lit up, displaying an unknown number, and I felt my heart drop. The ringing filled the room, louder and louder, each ring pressing against my skull, my heart racing, hands sweating as I stared at the screen. I knew deep down that this was the final call, the one I'd been warned about, but my hand moved on its own, reaching for the phone, my finger hovering over the screen, ready to answer, but I didn't. I forced myself to put the phone down, to back away, even as it kept ringing, kept filling the room with that terrible sound. And then, just as suddenly as it started, it stopped. Now I'm sitting here, alone in the dark, my mind racing, every nerve on edge. The silence is almost worse than the ringing. I can feel it. Something watching me, waiting, just beyond the edges of the light, and I know deep down that it's not over. That whatever was trying to reach me, it's still out there, and it's only a matter of time before it calls again.